Randy, you're on mute.
Well, no wonder Jackie wasn't responding to me. I was like, hey, Fred, sorry, I'm like, my hair is going wild over here. I was wondering how turnout's going to be because it's like spring break. Everything this week has been like ghost town. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm working on next spring break. Lakeisha, or did I say that right? Lakeisha, are you on here too?
Hey, yeah. Good evening. How are you, ladies?
Good. Have you been on with us before?
No.
Don't you love it? Like when the camera comes on and I'm like, I try not to be that person that's like looking at myself, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I had no idea this is how I was walking around.
Right.
When the camera came on a minute ago, I was like, what is going on? My bun's a little high, but well, thank you for being on here. So every week it's every month, it's a little different. Sometimes we have bigger groups, upwards of 30 or 40. Sometimes we have smaller. But the nice thing is like whatever those of us on the call want to talk about, that's what we get to talk about. So what market are you in?
Sounds good. So I am in the DC area, so licensed in Maryland, Virginia, and DC.
So that's like the DMV, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay, so
ma'am.
I'm just so funny story. The DMV and so Jackie happens to be in the same market, not the same market as me. She's about an hour and a half away, but like the same state. And for where we are, the DMV's Department of Motor Vehicles. And so I have to tell a funny story is that the very first time I started like hearing about the DMV, I was asked to speak at the Faithful Agent Conference. So it was a conference for Christian real estate agents. And so I flew to Greensboro, North Carolina, had never like been, anywhere, in that area, flew across the country, not knowing anything. And like half the agents in the room kept talking about the DMV. And I'm like, do they all like need to register their car? What's happening right now? And I
Oh
had
my
like
goodness.
no clue. And then funny enough, I ended up like weird story, but I ended up joining Real Broker, moving over, and a bunch of those agents were like big. And so I was like, okay, DMV's got to be a location. So I'm like slowly grasping it. Then last, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I'm talking to an agent who's in my market at a different brokerage, but we go to the same church. And him and I start talking about like different clients and different things. And he starts telling me about how he had to relearn DMV meant something different. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I'm from Maryland and in my area it's D. And I was like, he's like, so he was from there and he came here and he's like, you guys call it Department of Motor Vehicles. Anyway, so it was super funny. So I just learned it. So like, does that mean like 3 states or how does that work?
Yep, all three states, neck and neck. So literally, we're within a half an hour of one another.
Wow. So do you
Literally hop
serve
on
multiple
with
states?
yeah. Literally hop on
Wow.
95 and 30 minutes. You probably hit all three three
So,
areas.
so do you have 3 different licenses?
Oh yeah. hmm
Wow. So are
Three
you at a
different
brokerage that
licenses,
you have
three
one,
different.
you're at a brokerage that only has one cap, right?
We actually don't have a cap.
Oh, wow. Wow,
hmm
that's interesting. But your brokerage is at all 3 states.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So
hmm
I'm on the Nevada California border. And so we are, I mean, probably I'm literally like the mountain behind me is California. So I'm like right in Nevada. And so 8 minutes that way, I'm in California. And then I could also go up to Tahoe, and Lake Tahoe is like a famous lake, a world famous lake. And half the lake is on California and half the lake's on Nevada. But a lot of our agents actually end up at different companies. It's really interesting. Like they'll be at one company on the Nevada side and then they'll be at a completely different company on the California side. And it always baffles me because I'm with Real and we have one cap. And I'm like, why wouldn't you be at a company where you could be like, that's my goal. I'm like, let me be in like 5 states, one cap. I'm good to go.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny. I never even realized that with Lake Tahoe. Who knew?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
I
clearly we need
did
to get
one
out
when
more.
my client was like, I want to buy over here. And I'm like, that isn't showing up in my MLS. And then I was like, oh, big dummy, half the lake isn't in your state.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Huh. Fun
Nice. How long
fact.
have you been in the business?
This is my 12th year.
Wow,
Mhm.
12
Yeah,
years.
12. Yeah.
Jackie, how long have you been in?
3.5.
Nice.
Nothing happened to it.
Uh, I'm still the old one on the I'm year 23. So I've been around for a while, but for the first 10 years, if it didn't fall in my lap, I didn't sell it. I was busy raising my babies. Well, a little bit. I decided when they were teenagers would be a great time to build a business. Then
Well,
I saw
I'm sort of
Stephanie
in
jumped on the call
that
too.
moment right now, but
Is it? How old are your kids?
a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
fun. And then, well, is the 7-year-old really helpful? Because my oldest granddaughter is 9. I can't believe she's 9. She's 9. And then my youngest grandson is 3. And she's really good with him. Like she's really attentive. But do you have boys or girls or one of each?
2 girls, and they get along like peas in a pod.
Good. I love that. I have 2
Wait till
grandsons.
they're
They don't
older.
I'm here.
Oh
Oh
what
my
did you
God.
say, Jackie? Enjoy
Wait
it.
till they're older.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Our
I can
oldest-
hear yours in the background, so you probably hear mine in the background too.
We have 4. My oldest will be 14 in a month.
Yes, son. It's me.
And then we have a 10-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. But the girls, they just fight. Oh,
That's
Well,
funny. That's my
congratulations. That's
grandsons.
awesome.
I have a family compound, so we have multi-generational living. So we have not a lot of acreage. We have small acreage. We have like a micro farm, so we have goats and chickens, and then the house it's like a multi-gen house, but it's an old farmhouse that was like built, like the original homestead was built in 42, and then there was a section added on in the 60s, and then the rest on the 70s, and so we all kind of have like our own entrance. And so my boys, they're 22 and 28, so they don't really fight anymore. They're like, they're older and whatnot. But then my grandsons, they are 8 and 3, and they never stop all day long. I'm like, do you guys never get tired? Like they just harass each other nonstop.
And the answer to that question is no, they don't become
No.
tired.
No. Well, ladies, I love that you're on here, and Stephanie, you're welcome to, if you don't want to come off camera, that's fine, but please chime in. And so the biggest thing with this is, especially when it's small and intimate, I kind of love it because it gives us an opportunity to like dive deeper or unpack things more specific to what you might be going through. And so this call is whatever you need it to be. So if you just want to get to know each other and build referral relationships, that's great. We can do that. But if also there's something you're working in your business, if there's a struggle, if maybe you're trying to scale something, add a new lead source, get better balance, whatever it is, like, let's talk about it. Let's unpack it. That's the thing I've learned in this many years is there's always something going on in our business. I always say, like, you got to get comfortable going to sleep at night, knowing that your business is not 100% where it needs to be, because it's never going to be 100% where it needs to be. So is there anything specific anybody would like to chat about?
Well, actually, before you get started, you'll probably see me popping in and out because it's bedtime for one. The 1-year-old just woke up, and of course she's hungry. So I'm going to probably come off camera, but I am going to be listening in. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. And tell us if you want us to talk about anything in particular, and we will, and you can just listen to the goods.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, Jackie, how's your business going?
it's crazy. Between bad appraisals and freaking home inspections.
I've had a lot of appraisal issues. So one of my agents in Indiana called me this week, and she underappraised by 7,000. And then I had one underappraised by 5,000, and the appraiser called out the garbage disposal, called out the fence. And I'm not talking like, so I thought initially, so she called out the garbage disposal. She called out a step, Jackie, coming out of a dog door. There was a set of stairs coming outside of the dog door, outside, not attached to the house, stick built house. And she called out the steps for having like stain that was needing to be touched up. She called out so many things I can't even tell you. So I send the handyman out there. I'm trying to get it all fixed. And all she said is the fence boards need to be stained. So you look, and there's 2 fence boards that the neighbor replaced that must have like blown down or something. So they were brand new and raw. So I had the handyman stain them. She comes back out and she says, no, it's a no-go. And I'm like, well, what did you want? And she sent a picture of the bottom, like the bottom 1 inch of the fence around the entire property that over time had like, grass or lawnmower or sprinklers have hit it. She wanted it all restained. So they had
Oh
to go
my
back out
God.
there and the entire front yard fence. So they had to restain an entire fence for an appraisal on a stick built. Are
Is
you
she
seeing
old?
something? Probably.
I was gonna say, it sounds like my nightmare appraiser you had when you said she and all the things she
Yeah.
called out.
Is that what was yours like?
Hers, thank goodness she hasn't been out here in about a year, but she would call out everything. There was one where me and a lender on a conventional had to go paint a garage because she said, I'm calling it out like FHA and I won't fix it. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. It's been wild. Our appraisals are interesting right now because they'll find things on one, and then on my other one, they went in, they didn't find that there was no heating, no working hot water, and then they like overappraised that one by 30,000 somehow and
Yeah.
passed it for FHA.
Yeah, that's exactly my thing is I had a couple that I was like, wait, what? Like I thought our safety net would have been the appraisal. I was like, there's no way they're going to let this fly. And then they let it fly. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Um,
Then other
so
ones,
that's
it's just
interesting.
some things. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to keep it together?
No, we've canceled
Oh,
two over the last week and a half. And then,
both
yeah,
different ones or?
different ones. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, just so many repairs needed. One's the county owned, so that one's just going to be a fun trying to find somebody to go in and do the necessary repairs and get that thing up and going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Mark, Hawthorne's weird. I mean, I've been showing houses the last week, and I was like, if you see anything under 100, you can't come in expecting that this thing is going to be in perfect shape.
Yeah, 100%. I know that one you had, I was like trying to pencil it out. I was like, maybe I need an investment property in Hawthorne.
Right? That looks
I was-
cool. That's my county owned one that the people backed on. They can't afford. I mean, coming in doing a loan on a fixer upper is rough enough that they could barely afford closing costs, and then to do repairs that are needed, I was
Right.
like, oh.
Did you see? I think it was FHA that came out with a product that was a rehab product.
Yeah, it's hard out here because you have to have a contractor sign off, and none of our contractors will, and then they're so busy to do anything. So trying to bring a contractor in is impossible right now.
Yeah, I
Trying
bet
to get
that's super
roofs,
hard. Because what's
trying to
your
get
guys' total
roofs
population?
2,500.
Yeah, that's tough.
And one contractor is retiring. The other guy only does like metal roofs and he does construction, but I've been on the waiting list for 2 years to get a roof.
Nobody will come from
So
Reno?
we got a quote from Reno and they wanted 47,000. I was like, oh
My
no.
son, so I say same disclosure I say to everybody, I'll make the connection. What happens from there is there, but my son-in-law was a roofer. They do now he's carpenter's union, but they do roofs on the side if you ever want his information.
Oh yes, please. I have so many people out here. We've been getting tore up by wind lately.
Yeah, mine too. I've been looking at my RV that's outside and I'm like, is there a place that like fixes RVs? Because the wind is killing mine. I'm like, I just need it to get tuned up for something. So you said county owned, and Sylvia, I think I saw you jump on the call. Anybody's welcome to jump in, share their camera, or just interrupt us. But how did you get county deals? Like, how does that work? Like, were they taken back for? Like, were they? Tell me about that.
Sometimes the county has some that are taken back, but this one is special. It was willed to them when somebody passed away. So typically in the past, they've used other agents, well, two other agents, and they're like, we're not happy with them. And we've seen what you've done for other people. So they contacted me and finally listed.
Were you on our Moms in Real Estate call where we talked about short sales and foreclosures?
A little bit, yeah. I lost internet because, I just had that lovely situation come up where the day of closing, we found out they were applied for short sale and couldn't pay for their closing costs.
Oh, right. I remember that. I've been meaning to, I was leaving to Dallas when we did that master class. For anybody tuning in and listening, we did a master class on short sales and foreclosures. And it really got my attention because a couple things, like one of the things that I've really been focusing on when building my brand is building my personal brand in a way, in my personal name, in a way that I'm the solution, right? Like that's the most powerful thing, is like if somebody can think of you as a solution. And in real estate, yes, like in theory, like, oh yeah, I need to move, like, oh, Jackie's the solution or Randy's the solution, yes. But when there's like a situation that you're an expert in, like a short seller or foreclosure, I feel like that's, so I've really, really been thinking about making that one of my pillars. And so I got to circle back with Heather. I haven't had a chance since I was in Dallas, because I think I want to do it. But that was when you said the counties, I was like, I think that's like a whole nother avenue if you could get that. So do you think, I mean, that could be like multiple deals a year, right?
They don't have too many. I've been working with Heather. I got into that group too.
Oh, you did?
And then, yeah, I'm
How
so
are you
I'm in
liking
that.
it?
I've been trying to do more of the classes. It's just been so insane right now. She did like look in my area for foreclosures and she's like, you guys don't have many. I was like, yeah, I know. So I didn't sign up for like where you get the foreclosure part,
Right.
but she's like, stay in this for all the classes we do and information. I was like, that's good information to have because, you know, so many people are so close to short sell out here or for who knows what's going to happen with some of it. We've been having layoffs and it's been
I
nuts.
saw that, so I don't know if it's gonna happen. I think that like kind of to your point with like infrastructure and contractors, I think it's unrealistic, but I saw that Trump is supposed to approve a major amount of public lands throughout the country, specifically in rural markets, to be approved for development to help with the inventory shortage. Of course, my immediate panic mode, they were like in the closer to 10. So my panic mode is like looking around my land. I'm like, don't touch my land around us because we're all surrounded by BLM. But that would be, I mean, you guys, I think are you have some other components with the depot. Like, I don't know that they would develop that land, you know, land around the depot. But I mean, if they did that, that's my biggest thing is like, where would the infrastructure come from and who would come out and build those houses?
Yeah, where are they going to find people to actually? It's so hard to find work, and then when you're having to go to town to town to town to get it, it's getting so pricey.
Yeah, 100%. Not to take, again, if you're on this call, please jump in, interrupt us, let us know what you want. I know there's 3 or 4 of you just kind of like hanging out. So you're welcome to unmute and tell us what you need, what you want to talk about. But since I have you here, I've been trying to tap Stephanie in. I feel like you guys have such different experiences. I feel like you're tapped in and happy, and I feel like Stephanie is like,
Oh my God.
I don't know, waiting for something. And I'm like, I don't. So all of that to say, we are going to do a launch in Reno on April 29th. So I'm going to start pushing it out and marking it. You guys should try to come and try to be there. And then after that, I'm going to launch a monthly coffee meetup, like coffee and co-work. So anytime you want to drive in, I know it's a long drive for you, but you're always welcome.
Ooh, that'd be fun. I'd love to. I haven't got to
Yeah.
do much of like the collabing and meeting agents among my starting in real estate, so it'd be awesome.
Yeah. And then also, and anybody on the call, like if you have any interest in this or wherever your area is, let me know because we have chapters. So we rebranded Connect and Cultivate. So I don't know if she's still on the call, but Stephanie is in Georgia and they have a chapter there too. And so we rebranded Connect and Cultivate to Hello Culture. So if you don't know, and you're watching this call or listening to the replay, my partner in Moms in Real Estate, Kristen, she launched an entrepreneur network group for women. She's been running it in Arizona for like 6 or 7 years. And in about 18 months ago, we launched the first chapter in my market, which was here in Reno. And what it is we get together and make content together. There's workshops, there's monthly like Zoom calls, there's all the things. And so if you're struggling to make content or to have a community or anything like that, let us know and we can connect you with the chapter, or you could launch a chapter. So a lot of markets are still open. And so anyways, Jackie, we just rebranded to Hello Culture. And it's funny because my co-chapter leaders in Dayton, and you know, Dayton is a small market. And so we're like, how do we do this? Because Dayton people don't want to come to Reno. Reno people don't want to come to Dayton. And so we're doing, it's kind of cool. We're doing bundles. And so you'll be able to do a bundle package. So like for our content pop-ups, you can come to a content pop-up and just do the content with us. And you get lifestyle shots, you get B-roll, and you get produced like a head talking, real clip made. or you can buy like a bundle of 3 and get a discount, or buy a bundle of 6. And then our content dates are just going to be at different locations. And I talked to her and I was like, I want to offer my real agents a discount. Is that okay? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to offer those to our real agents at 50%. So like $75, you can get all new
Oh my
lifestyle.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can even do it like, I mean, you can do it, like I said, monthly. You could do it every couple months, like whatever you want. I love it monthly. It just helps me to have so much more content to put out. That's one of the things that I feel like I did really, really good in my career when before social media was the thing everybody was on, I was crushing it. And then now that everybody's on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm like, I don't have the time to be on social media. And so now I'm like trying to get anybody else struggling to like show up online, or is that just me?
What are you doing?
I don't like to. I don't do much of I haven't done much of the content world.
Yeah.
Just
I
out
think
here
it's
working in
hard.
the trenches.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing too, is like, I have to try to remember, like, to make what I'm doing content. Like, oh yeah, I'm like, I could just record myself today, like unlocking a door. And I actually did that. Did you see the video I posted where I couldn't get to the lockbox? And then I was like, this is why I don't make myself content, because I'm like the big chubby girl struggling to try to open the lockbox that's like underneath, and it's like the most unflattering. And all the girls the other day, they were like, let's do a group reel. And so it was one of those ones where like you can do it in multiple locations. Like every girl like picked up the camera, and so it looked like you were passing it, but they all like bent down. And I was like, I can't do that. I cannot lean forward and be upside down and like picking up a camera. I was like, let me know when you guys want to do something from like this angle, not this angle. I think she's still cooking, but Lakeisha, do you do content? I don't know if you can hear us at this moment, but
Oh, heck no, absolutely not.
no.
No. Listen, I post every once in a blue moon, and then and people respond, and then I forget to respond to the responses. So I am not accountable. I am not reliable. I am not dedicated to the call. But I scroll every day.
I do feel bad. I do feel like I've been praying, and I feel like God's giving me like a little bit of conviction around like, am I intentionally scrolling, or am I like mindlessly scrolling? And so it's like, I always am like, I could be better. I could use better use of my time. But sometimes it's like, it's my downtime. I'm like, I just want to watch a TikTok that I don't have to like respond to, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. What is your main source of business? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. Like, what does that look like?
So right now, a good source of my business is just repeat clients and or referrals from those guys. And because I had my daughter this past year, I really hadn't been seeking out new business or working as much for that matter. But now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, it's time to put a little fire underneath my butt and get out here. So the folks that I'm working with now are, past clients. So
I love that. Yeah.
mhm.
My past clients, so I name them, like one of the biggest tips I can give you guys is brand everything. So I brand everything. Those people that know me, like Christy that just jumped on the call, she works with me. Like I brand we have like our Faithful Advantage. That's our listing package, right? We have everything is like branded. And one of the best things I ever did in my career is I branded my past clients and advocates as the mob. And it was like a joke because my dad, when I was growing up, everybody was like, is your dad in the mob? And he was Robert Mendez, and he was like the only Hispanic, successful, like well-dressed car salesman. And so there was all these rumors that like, there's no way he just sells cars. He has to be like a mafia or something. So anyways, I just like ran with it. And kiddingly, I would tell clients, well, when you join me, you're joining the mob and there's no getting out. And so I would like joke with them, but it stuck. And so I brand it and we have the mob, and 80% of my business comes from the mob. And it's funny that you shared that, like it's time to get my butt in gear, because I made a move this year and moved my I can't believe I moved, but I made the move over to Real, which it was, I thank God so much for, but it was a disruptor to my business. And then I had like, I was part of a team that we co-led together, and I left that behind. And so I had so much disruptions, and I've kind of neglected the mob. Normally I do a monthly giveaway and all the things. And so now, and I'd love to hear your input on this ladies, because my daughter and I are debating. So every year, so the mob's also known for doing, like, the mob has 4 events every year. So we do Cookies with Santa, Easter Bunny, Harvest Bash, and then we do like a pop-up event, like maybe a baseball game or a barbecue or something. And so we do 4 events, and they're like, to the point that people wait for them, like, hey, when is it? Because they come for their kids. It's like tradition. But I'm just kind of like burnt out. There's so many things going on, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. And the Easter Bash is kind of a big thing. And so I was thinking of pivoting and renting out a theater. And there's a new movie coming out that's King of Kings. It's a cartoon. And I feel like it's also kind of appropriate. And we're a Christian real estate team, just for FYI, like for anybody, like we are a national Christian real estate team. So that tends to be a lot of our clients too. But I was like, what a perfect opportunity. Resurrection Sunday, we can invite in, we can just rent a theater. And instead of doing the Easter Bash this year, we can, like, you know, invite people to the movies. And my daughter was like, yeah, but are people really wait for it? So anyways, we're going back and forth. Like, do we go all in and do the Easter Bash, which we have like pictures and bunnies and barbecue and Easter egg hunts and coloring contests, and we have like 250 people that come to the park, and or do we just like go simpler and do the theater? What do you guys think?
Sure.
The bash.
The Bash. What do you think, Lakeisha?
You know, my thought is, you know, Easter is what, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, you know.
Late this year, it's April 20th.
Oh, okay. So a month away. So, I mean, you do in essence have time to pull things together, but you know, that would require you to be under the gun, deadlines, connections, contracts, basically having everything in play within the next 2 weeks. You know, do you
Yeah.
have the capacity to manage that?
Yeah.
And
For
Randy,
me,
at your level, can you manage it well the way that you want it executed?
exactly.
Because Randy
exactly.
wants it high level. You don't
Well,
just want
here's
to be
what's funny.
putting
I
stuff
haven't told you
together.
this, Christy, but I'm getting ready to roll out for the team an egg your yard, so that you guys can do it. So Lakeisha, Christy's on my team, and my team is a national Christian real estate team. So we're in multiple states. So we're in Indiana, we're in Colorado, we're in Arizona, we're in Nevada, Texas, we're in multiple states. And so I try to do things that the team can do. So we're going to roll out an egg your campaign so that they have all the marketing materials and everything. So what you guys get to do is you get to allow your clients to sign up to have their yard egged for Easter. And so we are almost ready to roll that out this week. I didn't tell you guys about it, but this week it'll go live in school. That's our platform. And you guys have all your marketing materials so that you can offer to egg your clients.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I think,
great.
Lakeisha, what you were saying was that, you know, do you have time to actually pull it off the way that you want it to be pulled off? Or do you need to go simple this year? And maybe it's something where maybe you do, you know, the big bash every, 3 years, and then you take a break, and
That's
one
a
year
good
you do
idea.
the movie theater. That way you're not doing it every single year, so then you'll end up burnt out.
Yeah,
So,
I like that.
because there are a lot of other churches and everybody else that does a lot of, Easter egg hunts and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that before. Lakeisha and Jackie, do you guys do events?
Well, when I was on a team, we would do like the quarterly events like you do.
Mhm.
Now that I've gone individually, most of my stuff is smaller, smaller pods. And to Christy's point, I actually like that idea of maybe alternating the big
Mhm.
bash versus something smaller. And I think that we've had really great success with renting out the movie theater. You know, it was something.
Have you?
Yeah, indoors, you know, you didn't have to worry about the weather. You weren't contending with the weather. It was easy peasy. You had your set time, your concessions, and it's a nice change from the
Yeah.
norm.
Yeah, I think so too. And weather for us is so crazy. Jackie knows, like so yesterday or the day before yesterday was 80 and today's 50. And so our weather has such a crazy swing that I literally have had, like, I've had Easters where it's snowing and it's like raining and like we're all miserable. So that's a real thing. So I love that. What do you guys think about micro events? One of the things that I've seen a lot of agents pivoting towards, and I'm kind of I'm kind of intrigued by it myself, is micro events. So instead of, even as an individual agent or as a team leader, you know, instead of ever getting to the point where it's like you're doing these big events for 80, 100, 200 people, instead every month you're doing a micro event, which might just be like 2 people. You're getting together with 2 people and barbecuing, or you're getting together with 3 people and doing a coffee or whatever. And so every single month you're just focusing on like a micro event with like 3 to 5 people. What do you guys think of those?
I've been thinking about doing that. I don't really get to do much out here in the small market. Like I tried to do a back to school drive with open houses this year, and of course nobody did anything with that. Nobody showed up. But I've been thinking about like our we only have the coffee shop here. They go in and buying a gift card for 50 or $100, pay for everybody's coffee coming through, and like sit out there posted with like the realtors in on my computer, and the girls would let the people know the realtor bought him coffee and maybe get conversation from that.
I think that would be really good. I mean, imagine if you did that once a month. Like if you did that once a month and you did $100, that would probably be the best marketing. Like you would become, in a town of 2,500, you would become known as like the agent that buys coffee, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like you would just, I mean, obviously, I'm just saying that would be the triggering thing that would like put you in front of them as the agent, you know? That's super smart. So you're going to do it? Am I going to hold you accountable to it?
I've been thinking about doing it. I gotta ask the coffee shop owner. Oh, I don't
All
know
right,
what you
that's it. I'm
did.
gonna write it down. Jackie has
You're
to
gonna
get
be
it approved with the coffee shop owner. What is she gonna say? No, you can't give me $100 once a month to buy everybody's coffee?
right. That's why I was like, it's easy.
Well,
Just
it's
let
a
me come on a Friday.
yeah, it's a win-win. That's a total, I love that idea. What about you,
It's like,
Chrissy? Have you thought about doing something like that, or doing like just like once a month? getting
You
together?
know, I was talking with what call were we on? I was on, it was something with you and leadership team, and it was I was with a leader out in Seattle, and I was supposed to commit to something
Oh, the
that we
break,
were challenged to do in that little.
it was the referral network. You did a breakout session.
Yes, right.
Mhm.
So I was talking about just a need for, I mean, I love my monthly Brokers and Bagels event, with my local real people and other title and everybody once a month. But I really feel like, it would be awesome to have just a women's, meetup, like a businesswomen's meetup, for coffee or whatever. And I was talking with another one of my friends, just to have that real, good conversation, whether you're mom or not a mom, because I actually know several of these ladies that aren't a mom, that are single, just to have some good conversations. But I guess I'm having a hard time getting started. Like, do I start with a Facebook page and just start inviting people to that little
Don't
small group?
overcomplicate it.
How do you?
Don't overcomplicate it at all. Make it as simple as like what
Yeah.
Jackie's talking about. Literally, so the power is in the invitation. The power is in the invite. Like we overcomplicate it because we're like, oh, we need invitations and we need a landing page and we need this and we need this. And all people really want is like, there's meaning in like calling and saying, hey, I'm just giving you a call. I want to see if you want to grab coffee, or you know what I mean? Like there's so much power in that, right?
Yeah.
And so I would literally get it on your calendar. I'm getting ready to do something kind of similar. I'm getting ready to do a slow girl stroll. So there's like this big trendy thing across the country, hot girl walk. And I went on one and I was like, okay, well, you hot girls keep walking. Like you're too fast for me. I need to stroll back
It
here.
ain't me.
Okay?
Right.
I have little legs. I don't need to power walk. That's not what I'm signed up for. So I was like, I'll do a slow girl stroll. And I like made it a thing. And so I'm going to, in my calendar, pick 2 times a month that even if I'm walking alone, I'm going to walk. We have a park next to us, Rancho San Rafael, and I'm just going to put it on a calendar. And then I'm going to make a goal to personally invite 5 people to walk with me each time, just like random people. I mean, it could be, this is what I love about it is it doesn't kill me to walk. I definitely should walk, right? It wouldn't kill you to go sit at a coffee shop for an hour, enjoy
Right.
a cup of coffee. Worst case, you're there by yourself and you work on your laptop and you power out an hour of
Right.
work, right? And so what I love about it is it gives me like 0 parameters. Like if I go to church and I want to invite somebody from church, I can do it. If I run into a cashier and I'm having a great conversation with them at a checkout stand and I'm like, hey, it was nice talking to you. I'm actually walking. If I put it in my calendar and it's a rock, I can always invite to it. Like, hey, every second and fourth Thursday at 11 o'clock, I walk Rancho San Rafael. I'd love for you to join me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that you should do that. 100%, Christy. Like you should absolutely do that, and then just make it a goal, even if it's only 2 people to invite. Like just say, hey, I just wanted, I'd like to have coffee with 1 or 2 people every single, week, and wanted to invite you to be one of those people.
Yeah. My friend Laura actually wanted to do an event for women, like whether we gather together and I don't know, and turn it into something either like clients, like a future client event, but to partner together. She's a landscape girl, and she's one of the few like women-owned landscape companies that's small around here. And she has a beautiful gift and passion to transform yards and so forth, which I've hired her twice and she does awesome work. Because I'm like, I do not have the time. And she is a boss. She can just tear stuff out. I can't even like get on a shovel, so uh shovels just don't move when I try to get on them. So anyway, we were thinking about doing like an event, but basically like just conversation with women. But we're gonna meet up at the next Brokers and Bagels or after that, just to talk about something to plan for the next, maybe for the fall, like some sort of event or a Mother's Day event. I think she originally wanted to do a Mother's Day event.
You know what
But
else
we're
is
doing
really
something
big?
for
It's like
moms.
Galentine's. Like
What was that?
Galentine's is a really popular one now.
Right.
Galentine's.
Yeah. Sorry, I
You
couldn't hear
guys
you.
could look at, you could look at doing a Galentine's event. And people are like really having like tons of success with those.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's because husbands suck at Valentine's. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe that's why
Well, and
there's like
some,
really,
especially if they're single, like then
Yeah,
they
good
feel
point.
lonely and crappy, and it's a good event for them to be surrounded
much
by
better
other.
point, much more positive point than husbands suck. Good job,
Yeah.
Christy. You're much better than me. That was so
Sounds
much.
like you might be speaking from experience. I don't know.
He's actually pretty good. You know what? My favorite Valentine's, he handed me a card. We were out at dinner and he handed me a card, and it was blank. It was unsigned. It was nothing. Like it was, and he's like, I mean, I bought the card, and I'm like, you didn't even write your name in the card. And he's like, I mean, I read it, and I'm like, you didn't think, I mean, in a perfect world, you would have wrote like, thanks for being my wife for 30 years or something great, but you gave me a blank card. He's like, you can regift it. Who am I regifting your my wife card to? Like, what is wrong with you? So yeah, I mean, no, he's great. He's an amazing husband. Acts of service is my love language, and he's kind and
Yes.
cooks dinner for me every night, and he's a great
Yes.
husband. So I've had
Yes.
to learn to all kidding aside, I've had to learn to like not let my flesh and my worldly expectations, like my husband's a great man every single day of the week. And then I'm like, furious because he didn't go all out. So I've had to learn to like reset my expectations. But yeah,
Right.
he's certainly not the best. He's not the best.
That is
And now I have sons who suck at Valentine's. So I get to call on Valentine's. It's like, Mom, can you go get me a gift? And I'm like, you want me to go get your girlfriend a gift? And this year I walked in, and my oldest son is such a brat. I got his gift for him, and I walked in, and he's like, that's too big. That's too, like, I didn't want to give her a big gesture. I said to get me a small rose. I told you to get me 1 rose. And I was like, I'm not getting a girl a 1 rose. And I'm like, stop complaining. If you wanted her to have less for Valentine's, you should have shopped yourself.
Right. Exactly. Or you could have just said, okay, I'll keep the other 11, but you still owe me.
Or he could have
$40.
gave them to me. Could have gave them to me and been like, hey, Mom,
Goodness,
I
that's
love
great.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you both to so Jackie, you're gonna get the coffee shop going. And then Christy, I'm gonna hold you accountable to get something, like just get something. Here's the thing, keep it so simple.
Yeah.
I wish, looking back, I wish I didn't overcomplicate things. It's funny because when Lakeisha asked a second ago, I can pull off that Easter bash in my sleep because of the fact that like I've done it so many years. I know where the park is. I know where the banner is. I know exactly the vendors I use for everything. So I can pull it off, no problem. But I just think back, and it took me like 5 years of like blood, sweat, and tears to dial that event in. And I just wish I would have kept stuff more simple. You know what I mean? Like we
Mhm.
don't have to overcomplicate it. And as your business scales, what I've started to notice, and I guess it's a good problem to have, but now that my events are all filled with just clients, even when I do an event and I have 200 people there, there's people I don't see and there's people I don't connect with. So the whole point of the event is to keep connection. And now I've scaled a business that's big enough that I don't even get that in the events. And so
So
that's why
maybe
I'm
you
like,
should pivot this year to the movie theater. To me, I think
That's-
I think this is a good year for you to pivot to that.
well, I also think that what I could do different is instead of my time like going into like the details and the planning of the event, I can just call people and I can just be like, hey, I just wanted to invite you and not have to, because normally we do like text and email and the team calls, but I would love it to be from me and not the team this year, you know?
Yeah, for me, that would be way time consuming because you know me. I can't have a 2-minute conversation. It would take like my
know
whole
you.
week.
Yeah, I do know you. And I love that, Jackie, I love that Christy and I are very similar. And I love that she's such a good sport. Like she lets me give her a little bit of a hard time because I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Christy reminds me of all the things I had to learn, like to be quiet. It was so
Yeah.
hard for me. I would always just
Yeah.
talk. I still do it. I'm still guilty of it. But Christy, right before you got on here, Jackie and I were talking about appraisals. And guess what she had this week? She had a short appraisal kill a deal.
Yeah. That it's hard. Especially depending on how low the appraisal comes in. So I'm sorry, Lakeisha, that happened. You lost the whole deal
That
because
one
of
was
it?
Jackie. Yeah,
Oh,
Jackie.
Jackie, sorry.
Yeah, between appraisal on one and a home inspection on another, we I lost 2 deals over the week.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like, we'll find
I
new
have-
people.
I have one in Fallon. Fallon's like a rural area for us, Christy. It's probably 10,000 in the county. And right now, I'm so excited, but I'm like, is this really going to happen? So it's an FHA. So I'm very, you both just went, so I'm nervous. So we
Mhm.
did inspections and we were actually, the appraisal got picked up early. Now, mind you, they're charging us $900 because of it being outlying. So the appraisal is $900 and it actually got picked up early. So it was going to get done. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'll have the appraisal back. I'll be able to include any appraiser required repairs in my notice of required repairs. And then I'll get everything together. It'll be perfect. Well, then the lender suggested, and this has been a very unique situation, but the lender suggested that we hold off on the appraisal until we got through the inspections. And I was like, I don't necessarily think we should do that, but she was trying to save the client money. So, okay, we go through the inspections, all new plumbing, all new electrical, like tons of electrical, tons of plumbing. And there's something else big. I can't remember what the other thing. Oh, the sewer line needs to be replaced in a big section. And then,
Oh my word.
and then there now is where I'm still trying to figure out if there's an old oil tank buried. If it's still buried there, if it's been sealed or like what's going on with it. So negotiate all of those repairs. He's doing them. The seller's doing them all. They're all going. And
They
now we're
must
like
really
down
want to move.
well, the seller, I think he's already moved out. I think. I don't
Oh.
know. This is the one Kim showed for me, Christy. So I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know if it's vacant, but I think it's vacant. So now I'm just nervous because the seller's gonna, he's probably 10,000 into repair. He's gonna be 10,000 into repairs. My client is, probably 1,500 in, and in different inspections and appraisal. And now what is this like? What is the appraiser going to call out? Like, 'cause there's some things that I would think he'd call out, like the door, the door from the garage to the house is not a fire coated door. It's an interior door. So I would think the
Yeah.
appraiser is going to call that out. But like Jackie said, she was like, she's had one where she thought the appraiser would call stuff out and he didn't call anything out. Hi, baby. Are you leaving?
Yeah, it was crazy on FHA. He missed that there was no running heat in the house, no running hot water.
What?
Yeah. And then
On
when
an
we had the home,
FHA?
and then on the home inspection, I was like, wait, what do you mean there's no? And he's like, yeah, there's no working heat and there's no hot water. I was like, oh, the appraiser was there the day before.
Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? My
It's not.
inspector on my own house told me that I had a concrete slab And so have you ever used Inspection Pros, Jackie? They probably don't come out that far, but they're
Mm.
really good guys. And one of them is a pastor and one of them is a firefighter of 26 years. And then they opened this inspection company together, probably 7, 8 years, 10 years ago now, but they were newer. And so I had a guy that I used for inspections and I used him all the time. I had him inspect my house. And he was like, yeah, you've got a concrete slab. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't think that this newer part of the house was a slab, but I don't know. I think in putting myself, like I wasn't in my agent shoes representing myself. I was in my buyer's shoes and I wanted the house. So I don't think I was like trying to nitpick it. Right. And so I close on the house and then I meet these guys and they're like, yeah, like we can do inspections. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I mean, I have a guy and they're like, well, let us do a free one for you. And I was like, well, I don't have an escrow right now that needs one. And they're like, let us inspect your house for you. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I guess like, go ahead, come inspect my house. So they inspect my house. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
So I absolutely don't have a slab. I don't just not have a slab. I have 2 crawl spaces. I have full stem walls in between my house, like underneath. The only thing that is like open on my house is the inside. There's like, I have 2 separate crawl spaces separated by stem walls. I have like, there was so much that he missed. And so it's hard because
Did he crawl
like,
underneath the house at all?
no, so he said there was no access. He said it was a concrete slab. And now we found it. Now, mind you, the one part is only like maybe 18 inches. My husband had to go under there recently. And he was like, I think I'm going to get stuck in the house. He's like, I think I'm going to get stuck under the house. So my poor son-in-law, the disadvantage.
I was going to say, you need to send one of your boys or something.
Well, my boys are bigger than my husband, right?
Oh,
My husband's like 5'10" and like 200 pounds. My boys are both 6 feet and like 220, 25 to 30
sheesh.
pounds. So they're big boys. So they're
Okay.
definitely getting stuck. But my son-in-law is like 5'7", 5'6", and like 140 pounds. So guess who suited up? My poor
Yeah.
son.
Right? You're like,
But isn't it crazy how like people just are like find completely different things?
yeah, definitely.
I have another deal going that we did $20,000 in concessions for repairs. And then we were investigating a toilet leak. And
Hey, Randy, what was the price of that home?
it was $525,
20,000. Wow. Okay.
which is not normal, just so you know, even on 525. I mean, usually
Yeah.
we're a couple thousand.
Yeah.
But this was the second escrow on this one. It has some
Yeah.
major roof issues. They're taking it as is. There's been a tenant in there that has a pet. So there's like a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah.
And so, but it was really weird. The seller just was like, or the buyer was like getting nervous or something, called the inspector back and was like, well, since there was a leak on the one toilet, do you think we should pull the toilet on the other 2 bathrooms to see if there's a leak? And he's like, yeah, maybe it would be good. And
No.
I'm like, wait, if you as the
No.
inspector had a concern about the toilets, why didn't you look at them in the inspection? Why, when the
Yeah.
buyer calls you back and is like, should I ask them to pull the toilets, would you say yes? If you thought that, you should have
Mm-mm.
recommended it.
Yeah.
So now I just had to like, thankfully we got through it, but I had to say sorry, but no, like, it's not that we don't want you to discover something, but we
Yeah.
are finally at the week of closing and we've been negotiating repairs for 3 weeks. And now you want to pull
Oh,
toilets?
man.
I'm like, no, we're not pulling the
Mhm.
toilets.
Yeah. Right. They're just fine. There's no leak.
Mhm.
Oh, man. Oh,
100%.
yeah.
Okay, I feel like we can't leave you out, Lakeisha. So I'm gonna decide. My thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna for sure decide if I'm doing the movies or the Easter bash by tomorrow, and I'm gonna put that into play. Jackie's going to roll out the coffee shop. Christy is gonna roll out whether it's a coffee shop
Coffee
or an
with
event
agents.
or something.
Yeah.
You know, she's gonna do something. So,
Yeah.
Lakeisha, what can we hold you accountable to?
Oh my, actually doing some work.
Yeah. Yeah. Like making some calls or prospecting.
Definitely. I need to make a point to contact 10 people tomorrow, just to
10
follow up
people
with them,
tomorrow.
touch base, because similar to you, I switched brokerages, probably I guess it's been 2 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I never even sent like or announcements that I actually moved because of the pregnancy and then having my daughter, stuff just got lost in translation. So I'm like, I still need to let people know that I am in real estate. Those
Yeah.
that I don't communicate with on a regular. So
I love that.
that's
Lakeisha, are you
what
on?
I'll
I
be
know
doing.
you're not like super on social, but do you have a Facebook? We're not Facebook friends, right?
We are not Facebook friends, but I think we are on IG. Let's see.
Oh, okay. I feel horrible on IG because there's so many agents and I can't follow. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I try to
Yeah.
remember everybody, but it's really, really hard. I'm just gonna make us a group chat, the four of us. Since we were small, I want to like take advantage of it, and I want to like move the needle in each of our businesses in something. Okay. Well, Jackie, are you on Instagram? You are? How
I
come
Wait,
am.
Jackie, is it Jackie or is it JC? I can't tell.
Jackie, spelt JC.
JC. I need to put my glasses on. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
So Christy, I called her JC like 10 times.
Thank
then
you. I'm like,
and then her mother-in-law was like, Randy, her name is Jackie. But at least that wasn't as bad as the time did I ever tell you about the time I was on a call and I kept calling the lady Kennelly? Her name was Knelly. And then she finally was like, hey, Randy, the K's silent. But I called her Kennelly. Like, I was like, so
wait, was that
Kennelly,
a
how's it
client?
going? No,
No,
she
it was
an
another
agent. It
mom.
was an agent,
Okay.
another agent,
Okay.
agent. But I was like, Nelly, tell me how it went. And she was like, the K in my name is silent. Guys,
You're
if
like, who does
I
that?
can be successful in real estate, anybody can be successful in real estate. Okay, so I'm gonna make a group chat for us. What is will everybody drop really quick in the chat? Will you just drop your handles so I can make sure I have all of yours on social? Drop your Instagram handles.
You want Insta or Facebook?
Yeah, let's do Insta.
Okay.
And I'll drop mine too.
No,
Well,
I
ladies,
can't.
I'm glad you came on here tonight. I'm excited. I'm actually really, really thankful. I'll be honest that it was a small group. I was kind of like burnt out and I was like, I hope I can just chill tonight. So I love that it was just us tonight.
Yeah, this was perfect, especially as an intro and not knowing
Oh
what
my
to
goodness.
expect.
I am obsessed with your handle. Closings
Yeah.
and closings.
I love that.
That is so cute.
That is adorable.
Closings and
Thanks.
car seats. I love that so much.
Keisha.
Oh, and that picture is so
Okay.
cute. How old? You said 6, your oldest little girl?
7 years old and 1 year.
Hi,
Sorry.
Mama. This
He's
is
so cute.
this is my little
Oh my
bestie,
word.
my granddaughter.
Hi.
Oh, and
She's
she's
so
so beautiful.
Thank
Oh my
you.
goodness. All
Say
these
hi.
beautiful babies.
Yes, yes. Well, ladies, thank you so much. It was so fun. I'll start our group chat and then oh, hold on, let me get yours really quick, Jackie. Okay, I'll get ours and then let's do it. So tomorrow, Lakeisha she's gonna contact 10 people. Jackie is going to get her coffee shop going. So is Christy, and I'm gonna decide my event. I'm gonna message you all tomorrow. Let's kick butt, okay?
Awesome.
Hey,
Thanks
bye,
so
ladies.
much.
Have a good night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
ladies.
Bye, guys.